Hello Mila, hello Jack, hello everyone else who's watching today. Today's book on Storytime with Grandad is Threadbear. Ben's bear was called Threadbear. He was old, bits of him had worn out or worked loose or dropped off. He had a paw which didn't match and a button for an eye. When he looked through the button, he saw 4 pictures instead of 1. It was like looking in a television shop window. But there was one thing that had always been wrong with Threadbear. The silly man who had made him had put too much stuffing inside him. His arms were too hard, his legs were too hard, and there was so much stuffing inside his tummy that his squeaker had been squashed. It had never squeaked, not even once. Threadbear hated having a squeaker in his tummy that wouldn't squeak. It made him feel he was letting Ben down. Ben's frog could croak, his space monster could squelch, and his electronic robot could burble away for hours if its batteries were the right way round. Even the little toy that Ben called Grey Thing could make a noise, and nobody knew what Grey Thing was meant to be. Nobody could make Threadbear's squeaker work. Ben's dad couldn't do it, Ben's mum couldn't do it, nor could his auntie or his grandma, nor could any of his friends. When Ben had measles, he asked the doctor about Threadbear's squeaker. The doctor listened to Threadbear's tummy, but there was no squeak, not even the faintest sign of one. The other toys tried to help. "If you had a winder like me, we could wind you up," said Frog. "If you were made of rubber like me, we could squelch you," said the space monster. "If you had batteries like me, we could turn you on," said the robot. It was not much help. "Why don't you ask Father Christmas?" said Grey Thing. "He knows all about toys." This was a brilliant idea, and Grey Thing went a little pink. "But where does Father Christmas live?" asked Threadbear. "At a place called the North Pole," said Grey. "You can get to it up the chimney, I think." Threadbear had never climbed up a chimney before. It was hard work. He took a wrong turn and fell back down, but he did not give up. It was long after bedtime when Threadbear poked his head out of the chimney pot. Threadbear sat down to wait for Father Christmas. He waited and waited, but Father Christmas did not seem to be coming. The moon rose in the sky, and Threadbear began to doze. Suddenly Father Christmas was there, helping Threadbear into his sleigh. They flew over the top of the world and onto the land where the Squeaker Trees grow. Threadbear could hear the Squeaker Trees as they came into land. "You must eat the biggest squeaker fruit," said Father Christmas. It tasted delicious, but it made Threadbear feel sleepy. Threadbear felt himself falling and falling. Bump! Threadbear woke up. He rubbed his eyes and looked around. There was no squeaker fruit, no squeaker tree, and worst of all, no Father Christmas. "I must have fallen asleep and dropped off the North Pole," said Threadbear. In the morning, Ben was surprised to find Threadbear in the garden covered in soot. Ben's mum put Threadbear straight into the washing machine. She did not even look at the label on Threadbear's neck, which read in capital letters, "Do not wash." When Threadbear came out of the washing machine, the soot was gone, but there was a curious purple stain on his chin, which nobody could explain. Threadbear was feeling too giddy to notice. His head felt like a spinning top. "I don't mind feeling giddy," thought Threadbear as he hung on the line. I don't mind having a button for an eye and a paw that doesn't match. I don't even mind being hung up by the ear. But what I mind very much, is having a silly squeaker in my tummy that won't squeak. Threadbear was so cross he frightened a robin. It flew away, leaving him alone in the garden, bouncing angry little bounces on the washing line. The sun rose slowly over the garden. It shone straight down on Threadbear, a great warm shine like an enormous hug. Threadbear began to steam. He began to feel better. The more he steamed, the better he felt. He swung his legs backwards and forwards, then he kicked them high in the air. Soon he was swinging round and round the washing line, giggling to himself. Why do I feel so happy? He wondered. It was at this moment that Threadbear realised a very odd thing had happened to him. His paws felt different. So did his arms and his legs. They were no longer hard. And inside his tummy was a wonderful, loose, comfortable feeling that he'd never felt before. At the very same moment, something caught Threadbear's eye. Something red was racing across the sun, and to Threadbear's surprise, the red something was waving goodbye. When Ben came out to see if Threadbear was dry, he noticed that his little brown bear had changed. "Look, Mum," said Ben, "he's gone floppy." Ben's mum unpegged Threadbear's ear. "Oh dear," she said, "his stuffing must have shrunk in the wash." Ben looked at Threadbear. "I like him like that. It makes him look—" But Ben couldn't think of the right word, so instead he gave Threadbear a squeeze, and for the first time the squeaker in Threadbear's tummy gave the loudest, clearest, squeakiest squeak. The end. Bye-bye, Mila. Bye-bye, Jack. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, everyone else who's been watching. Goodbye.